Well, welcome to the Business Spotlight series. My name is Heather Frierson, and I'm your host of the Business Spotlight podcast. And today I have Debby Allmon, President of Asset Services. And today she's going to be talking about all about her journey to being the president, how to be an executive leader, and really lead a team of a company like Asset Services, and really just give us a sneak peek behind the curtain of her journey. So if this is your first time to the show, be sure to like and subscribe so that you don't miss a notification every time a new show drops, just like this one. Well, Debby, welcome to the show. I'm so glad you're here.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm glad to be here.
Well, I would just love for you to set the stage for our audience a little bit and
Okay.
just share a little bit of background about who you are and about asset services.
Okay. This is such an interesting day for us to be talking because for a couple of reasons. So I'm Debby Allmon. I'm the president of Asset Services. I'm also a part owner of Asset Services with my sister and brother-in-law. So it's kind of an
Oh, wow.
interesting family dynamic there.
Yeah.
Yeah. We acquired the business in October of 2023, so not that long ago. And I came on as our president to start 2024.
Oh,
I
wow.
run the day-to-day operations, and like I said, I also serve as part owner. So president slash everything nobody else wants to do, I think, is sometimes what the title is. The reason I say today is such an interesting day because over the last, year to 15 months that we have owned the company, we've said Asset Services does not say what we do. So many
Mm,
people ask us like, oh, good, so you're a financial fiduciary, you handle people's assets, you trade assets, you this assets. Okay, I get sales calls all the time from people wanting to sell me accounting services. So Asset Services provides fixed asset and equipment inventories. We're a boots
mm,
on the ground company. We have our own employees, and hospitals, schools, convenience stores, really anyone that has fixed assets on their general ledger or has a compliance component to their business, like hospitals have to be compliant to the Joint Commission. Schools have um, accreditations that they have to have be in compliance for. And a lot of that has to do with their assets, as well as for capital planning. You need to know
mm,
what you have and what it's worth, because to know what you need or how much you spend. And then also disaster recovery. Many
mm.
times, if you don't know what you have and what it's worth, you're you're susceptible to, if a disaster comes, not being properly insured or
Mhm.
taking a longer time to figure out what you need to reestablish yourself. So Asset Services does that. We go out, we're on site, and we take with a scanner inventory of your fixed assets.
Mhm.
Now, the reason it's an interesting day is because today we change over our name to Inventory ID.
Oh,
Tag,
wow.
track, and protect your assets. So we have been in the
Wow.
process of studying. We met with a branding company and a marketing company, and explain what we do. And really, it took us as owners a while to really get a grasp and a feel for who is this company, what are we about? Because to all of us, it was new to acquire a business. We'd all been
Mm,
in developing businesses as we've grown, but now as owners and me as the managing partner of the business, really needed some time to understand who we are, what's our culture, and what's our end result.
mm.
And so Inventory ID is the name of the company, and tag, track, and protect your assets is our little tagline. Um, but of course, we felt like that was more who we were saying we were. So
Well, I'm just going to
anyway,
stop right there and say congratulations. That's a great
thanks.
thing to accomplish. And what a fun day.
Well, I don't know if I'd call today fun. It's been a little
Okay.
bit challenge, when you're changing employees' email addresses and websites and things like that.
Well,
Of course, both sides will work for the foreseeable future, who we can be
mhm,
reached all the same way. But it is exciting for us to be able to introduce us as a new brand, as kind of a coming
mm.
out party. Asset Services has been in business for 30 years. But
Wow.
we, as the new owners, kind of see a new direction, a new light, a new way that we want to
Mhm.
expand and grow the company, scale this
Of
business,
course.
as well as kind of change the dynamic from just somebody that comes out and does that to a partner, to a
Mm,
client solutions provider versus just a scanner and we send you a spreadsheet. We really want to figure out what is going on behind the scenes that you need
mm,
this inventory or this report or this valuation, and how can we help give you the best information that way?
yeah. If I understand it correctly, and I just want to make sure, I come from a background of retail clothing, and
Okay.
we would have quarterly inventory, and a company would come in, and we might set it up a little bit for them, but they would come in with these scanners, tag everything, and it would show us like loss prevention, what we maybe dollars we were missing, how many on hand. Is that kind of what you're looking at?
No. We
Okay,
actually
see, I'm glad I
no,
asked.
and that's why there's so much confusion around it, I think. So that inventory is kind of a consumable or retail inventory.
Okay.
So when I say we do convenience stores, this kind of helps explain it, I think.
Mhm.
So we'll go to a chain of convenience stores all across the US. And what we're tagging are fixed assets. So what are those? Those are the pumps, those are the freezers,
Okay.
those are the coffee makers, the hot dog
Okay.
rollers, the point of sale, the heating and cooling, the ice containers,
The
all of that
major
kind of stuff.
appliance, the major
Major
things.
equipment that you're doing. Yes, exactly.
Wow.
At a hospital, it's most often like biomedical equipment like IVs,
Mm.
pumps, machines like MRI machines and X-ray. So things that have value of maybe
Yeah.
at a hospital 5,000 or more, or at a school 500 or more, but it's
Mm.
something that if you're recording that on your ledger, like you wouldn't record the shirt at the retail store, but maybe
Yeah.
the racking because if it's part of what you own. Does that make sense?
Got it. That totally
Yeah.
makes sense.
Okay.
Thanks for the clarification.
Sure.
Because that is such a different
It's a
type of
niche.
company that's really
Mhm.
not talked about a lot.
But
Unless you really need it, like you're a hospital, you know.
And if you know, and you try to find somebody, but there's very few people who perform the part that we're performing, which is the
Mm,
actual, I call it the first step, the get out there and get the info. Because most people have a computer maintenance management system or a CMMS that they're uploading all of this information that either we give them or they've collected themselves.
mhm,
And it puts them on a preventative maintenance plan. It allows them to track depreciation and other things. But the information in their CMMS is only as good as what went into it. So what we
mhm.
find is that people, if they skip that first step of really getting a good inventory, that they're not happy later because bad in,
Yeah.
bad out, or, whatever that statement is. You need good information to go in. And so oddly, I think our biggest competitor is people who do it themselves.
Mhm.
Companies
Yeah.
that say, or schools say, let's have the teachers tell me what's in their room. Well, what's the difference there? The teachers are doing that, and each teacher calls something a different name, or
Mm,
they don't capture the zeros ahead of the make, model, or serial number, and so therefore
mm.
the information goes in and it's really difficult to find.
Yeah.
So we have, if you take our crew comes in, we've already preloaded their scanners, they send the information back to us, and we have a gentleman here who I don't know how he does it because he looks at spreadsheet lines in the hundreds of thousands all the time. My eyes would cross, I wouldn't make it, but he cleans and normalizes data so that
Wow.
when it comes back to you, it goes into the spreadsheet and you have the best chance of your compliance, your capture, your
Mm,
knowledge. Sometimes there's a little step in between that I skipped, and that's once we've cleaned and done all of that, sometimes we send it for value. And it could be a resale value or a fair market value so that people know maybe they're selling their business. They need to know fair
okay.
market, or they need to know current value. So
Mm,
there's different opportunities for us to share information that way as well.
yeah. That is a really big job,
It's a big
and
job.
it's a big job, and I'm sure much needed with hospitals and schools and all the things that you do. And so, how what I wondered, you a couple of things you talked about was one you acquired, and it's a family-owned business. So I kind of want
Mhm.
to
Okay.
go towards that a little bit and dig deep. Let's talk about acquisition first,
Okay.
and why this company, and what was that process like?
So I'll tell you that it was a very strange process, and you're not gonna be like, oh, I've heard this before. So, my brother-in-law and sister, Brian and Christy,
Mhm.
they were actually the ones looking for a business to acquire. And their kind of criteria was something that is small, that has so much upward potential, and that if people with our background could come into it, we could see a really big change. And
Mhm.
so they had a broker, and someone helping them interview opportunities that were out there. And actually made an offer on a couple that didn't go through, and then started having meetings about asset services, and really just liked the employees are our own, the books, the old owner, all of
Mm.
those kinds of things. Now, April or October, 20th, I can't, 9th, whatever the day is that we closed on the business, I was not involved yet that day.
Mm.
So fast forward a month, my sister is actually thinking she wants to do this role, and she's starting to come in and learn and do. And her husband is diagnosed with stage 3 pancreatic cancer.
Oh.
And we had been like, that's not a joke, but we had been joking about, this is not your role. I'm probably gonna need to quit my job and come run your company, aren't I? And like just kind of sister banter back and forth,
Yes.
right? And so this happens, and he's in the hospital, and she's reeling. And I
Mm.
said, what do we do? And she said, I can't do it. You need to come in.
Mm.
And I said, okay, let's do it. Because my strength, my background that I'll tell you a little bit about is in running small businesses. And
Okay.
I have 22 years with a remodeling company, 5 with a building company. Like that just is what I've done, and with the employees. So I knew I could do that aspect of it, right? And I
Mhm.
needed to protect her as my sister and
Mm.
help them. So fast forward, the remarkableness of my brother-in-law is he is today cancer-free.
Wow, that's
Unreal.
amazing.
Amazing. It
Yes.
is truly like unheard of. He had a
Yeah.
15% chance. Um, and he
Wow.
had the surgery. He is an Ironman athlete,
Mm.
never stopped training through the chemo, through any of it. Very inspiring person altogether.
Wow.
Yeah. And continued. Like we would have meetings at the hospital. We would have meetings during, I mean, it was so crazy. And I just got back. I spent a few days with them actually in Florida, and just working on stuff, just
Yeah.
talking, because I'm the day to day. And she really doesn't, that's not her strength. She's more sales. She likes to do
Mm.
presentations, all of that. I'm really more the kind of,
Yeah. It's a great team.
but on exactly. And Brian is a very successful, he owns another well, he's recently sold it, but another company that has kind of been through some of these changes. So a great advocate for us. And he is
Mm.
also a lawyer by trade. So we just
Oh,
have a
okay.
really good synergy. And oddly, because it is family, we do have other siblings. And you would think, I was worried about my
Uh-huh.
sister and like, especially because I just dove head first. I mean, I
Mm.
literally came day one without an ounce of training
Wow.
or handoff, really. I mean, she tried, but it just was hard. And
Yeah.
she had had a month with the past owner, so he was kind of gone.
Mm.
And so it has been a lot, but an exciting
Yeah.
lot. And
Mhm.
like now I'm so excited. It's been a year. Today's the name change. We're like really ready to launch and
Wow.
be so much more, and from a healthy place, which is like something we had no idea what would be coming. We just had to keep going and
Yeah.
see where it took us. So it has been an
So
eventful
exciting.
year. I know.
So exciting.
It's just nuts, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it
I
is, but
mean,
it's really cool to hear the story of acquisition, how that decision was made and why, and then having to pivot so quickly.
mhm, yes. And
How
it's
did
funny
the
because I
team oh,
kind
go
of
ahead.
think the pivot would have happened at some point anyway, because I think we talk every day, and I think it would have been like, I don't want to be at the office every day. Like, I don't know how to not be at the office every day, but she's not the
Mhm.
same.
Yeah,
And I think that at some point we would have come together, but it just would have taken longer. So,
yeah.
yeah. And recently we brought my brother in.
Oh, cool.
And he is working in our sales to try to help us generate some new
Mm,
business, new avenues of people.
wow.
Um,
So this is really becoming a family-owned
uh-huh,
business.
it is. It
Yeah.
is. And what's really interesting is, so we I'm learning about the company. I'm trying to figure out what's going on. And what I realize is that the company is very introverted as a team. They
Hmm.
look at data. They are quiet. That's just their way. And
Yeah.
clearly my way is loud and everything else. And so, I mean, so is my family. And so we had a coach come in and kind of work with the owners, my brother and me, my sister and
Yeah.
her husband, to just talk about the future and strategic planning and
Mm.
what do we see and how do we get there. And so he did,
So good.
my favorite thing is personality tests.
Mine too.
I love them.
Love them. Yes.
Love them. That has taught me the most of anything in the business. I've taken so many
Hmm.
different kinds. So he did one on us. I think it was called the Enneagram or something. Gives
Oh
you
yeah.
numbers. Yeah.
Hmm.
And of course, we're all like these extroverted, thing. And he's like, this could be a problem. Because you're so the same, we're like, okay, so what do we need to do? And luckily we're all pretty versed in it. But the excitement I think that we bring to the room is something they haven't seen before. And so it is kind of like, I think it energizes people. And
Yeah.
we are
Well, you need
really,
all personalities to make
yeah, you
anything
do.
work.
Absolutely. And you really value
Hmm.
what the other people's, though they may not want me to be so loud in their space, what that they sit and quiet. And I have to learn to do that and just wait for
Hmm.
the answer, which is not my strong suit. But I know that
Mm.
about me. So I try really hard to work on
Hmm.
it. So yeah, so it's been a very, acquiring a staff is
Yeah.
a challenge. It
Yeah.
is good and it's bad, I mean, we've had some changes. Some we made, some were made by other people. It hasn't been much. I think 2 people of
Hmm.
15 are not
Oh,
here
that's
that
good. Yeah.
were, which isn't
What
bad.
were, I mean, that's an interesting point that you acquired a staff.
Hmm.
When you acquire a business, all things come with it.
Yeah.
And there's challenges within that. What were
Yes.
some of the challenges besides personality, which I would love to hear too, how the team is working within that.
Hmm.
But what were some of the challenges that you faced that have been worked out? And how did that go?
Well, it's interesting because I would say the most of the challenge for me um, was I didn't know how to do everybody's job. And
Mm,
everywhere else that I've been, I could do their job. And my background is construction. And there's some correlations here to how you set things up, but I don't clean data. I can't make an app. The former owner was a software developer, not an
mm,
extroverted sales manager, general manager kind of person. You know what I mean?
mm-hmm,
And so the staff was, everybody was very compartmentalized. And I
mm,
come from a very like, it takes a team to get
mm-hmm,
anywhere, or the client experience isn't the same. And so I kind of just went back to my roots of, okay, what do I know? I
mm,
know that everybody in this, from our client services to our people in the field, to the data, to the office manager, the sales team, they need to all know what each other does because there was a lot of discrepancy there and of like, why does he do this? Or, and especially when the new person comes in, there's the big question. Is she going to get
mm-hmm,
it? I have to prove my worth, so-and-so's not holding their weight. So really my focus has been on creating an open platform where there's meetings, because I didn't meet much. I meet with every office team member weekly, and just kind of discuss where they're at and where we're going. But we also meet as a group, as an office team, and then as a whole company. The whole company used to only meet once a year at the Christmas party.
oh, wow.
So I've implemented quarterly meetings because half of, more than half, um, 10 to 12 people who are in the field are out of
Yep.
town all week. They travel from Kansas City to
Mm,
wherever the job is.
okay.
And so you don't have that every day seeing each other, or, they might be
Yeah.
checking in at the beginning of the week or not, but there's some people I won't see for a month or two.
Mm,
And they never talk to each other in a way. So the quarterly meeting is just an opportunity. We try to implement like something fun, learn about each other under the pretense that I don't know about any of you, so help me.
mm,
They think they
mm-hmm.
know each other, but they kind of don't. You sort of do some of that team
Yeah.
building, and we're very transparent and open and saying, here's where we want to go. This is why we
Yeah.
bought the company. we know it can grow. We're underserved, but there's going to be some growing pains and it's going
Yeah.
to be hard. We had to change our technology and are in the process of that. And that has been probably one of the
Yeah.
hardest things I've had to implement ever.
Mm.
We changed to a new ERP from a homemade system that the old owner did.
Oh, wow.
And we have to, there's no support. He's wonderful. He will come in here. I mean, we had to call him 2 weeks ago about something, but it was something that developed over 10, 12 years that they just kept adding to. So it was very,
Mm.
very custom to them, but we were stuck. It couldn't grow further. And so to
Yeah.
make people understand that also that are on the team was a really big challenge of like, why do I have to go through the pain that you're going to put me through?
Yeah. Yeah.
When everything was working just fine and he had everything lined out to what I needed. I mean, truly down to knowing what buttons to click, but having no idea if one of those buttons didn't work, what do we do? You know?
Yeah.
And so
And if you're
I'm,
not there that day,
yeah,
you have to be able to run a business without you.
exactly, 100%. And so I think that's an advantage we have in some way where we didn't know because I couldn't fix everything. I couldn't,
Mm.
they still come and are like, my blah, blah doesn't work. And I'm like, okay, so how do we do that? Empower them to like work with me on a
Yeah.
solution. Um, Not only gives them ownership in that solution, but also
Mhm.
helps them think outside the box of like, okay, wait, maybe there is something better because nobody really thought there'd be anything better, but maybe there is a better way.
Yeah.
Maybe, yes. And I always say it's going to hurt before it feels good. So
That's really
change,
true.
change and change management is probably one thing we always know as leaders is there's going to be
Yeah,
change,
for
right?
sure.
If
For
there
sure.
isn't, you're not growing, you're not
Mm.
thriving. But change is really hard, especially for a group of people who have been in their same role for a long time,
Yep.
who have done it one way,
Hmm.
and are verbally very willing to change, but the muscle memory is not there.
Oh, right.
You
Totally
know?
get that.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's some of the challenges with acquiring
Mm.
that staff. And while many of them are so wonderful, most of them are so wonderful, um, and want to help, it still is hard.
Yeah.
And I'm still kind of the reason. You know what I mean? Like, here she comes
Mhm.
again, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, why are you doing this? So it's
But the
yeah,
reward is showing up.
yeah,
I mean, even in today's like today, where you're really celebrating through the hard work of all that you've accomplished.
yeah,
So, and
yeah.
that's a lot to do in a year. You've really done
Oh my
from
goodness.
employee changes, technology changes, branding changing.
Mhm.
It's a
Yes,
lot to do in a year. What
it
would you
is.
say has been the biggest, like that was the number one thing we needed the most?
The number one thing we needed the most, I really thought was the technology of getting us onto a system that could do CRM, that could track our actual current job process and hours and
Mhm.
time. And I would say we're not out of the woods of that yet. It's the biggest thing that needed to happen, and it is happening. But
Mhm.
it has also been the most painful.
Mm. Yeah,
So,
I get that.
but the most rewarding, I would say, is the people that when they
Mhm.
come in and they see the light bulb and they're like, oh, or I share information. I'm like, through the new system, let me tell you what I know. I was meeting with a
Yeah.
project manager and I was like, we have spent this many hours, we budgeted this many, we're making this many dollars, or we're not making this many dollars. Do you see that? And he's like,
Mhm.
oh, okay. Nobody really ever talked about those specifics. So
Wow.
that's very helpful.
Yeah. For a company like this, I don't even know where you would even ask or look at, but talk to me about sales. Like, have you grown sales 20%? What type of revenue does this type of business, you don't have to be specific, but generate?
So it's a small business,
Yeah.
and our goal the first year we kind of stayed the same, implement some
Mhm.
changes, do some things. This year we wanted to grow 25%.
Mm.
Um, and by adding a salesperson, which is my brother, um, and implementing some of these processes and procedures, that's not a huge jump growth, but it's like, okay, let's get to there so that we can see the next year even more. Because if we can get the process lined out I always go back to, in roundtable groups and other things, if you have to dumb it down, if you have
Mhm.
a, what is the process for all of this so that we do it the same way every time? If we do it the
Mm.
same way every time, that's the only way you can guarantee your
Yeah.
client experience or know where you missed it, right? And by
Yeah.
the same way, of course, there's variables because there's different kind of clients, but you have a process and you follow it and everybody believes it. So kind of lost my train there with where I was going, but taking it down to that compartmentalizing in a way of like what everybody does, but everybody also
Hmm.
being part of that of here's what you do, here's what you do, here's what you
Yeah.
do, and how it impacts each other. So
Hmm.
creating the team next to technology, creating the team has been kind of my second biggest victory, I feel like, because my first day, nobody really talked. Like everybody goes in their office, they close their doors, and I'm like, oh my God, I hate my door closed. Um, but now I watch people cross the hall and talk about issues and, where before they were
Mm.
shooting a Teams message or, I mean, just, I can
Yeah.
feel the co-working more, even with, I
Mm.
have a couple of people that are offsite and you know what, you asked me about sales and that is my salespeople. So how do you, um, how'd you ask that question? Remind me.
Well, you talked about wanting to grow 25%. That was kind of
Yeah.
what I was looking for,
Okay.
like
Yeah.
without having to divulge all of your financials. How do you do that? And to take a company you acquired that was steady and now you want to grow it
Yes.
25%. How do you do that?
Okay, so our plan anyway is the marketing, obviously, the
Hmm.
name, the change, adding a salesperson. Over the last year, we've really evaluated what the company has done in the past. And I mean, I think you'll probably like I did when I looked at what our marketing efforts were, I found
Hmm.
that they were focused heavily in trade shows. And I was like, who goes to trade shows? You know? Are you kidding me? But what I found over this last, year is that actually, because we've been going for so long, but the people like us that are at the trade show that are selling are actually our clients. It's maybe not the teacher that's at the trade show, but the person selling to the teacher because they need our service. So it's just been an interesting understanding, and I've deep dove into where business has come
Mm.
from over the years, from where it started being tracked, and surprisingly, a great number of those partnerships have come out of trade shows.
Oh, wow.
So um, we're looking at it under a new lens with the trade
Hmm.
shows. How can we take these years of just we've been there, who we are, and now say how exciting we are inventory ID and we're offering different
Yeah.
things and more things and we're client focused, we're solutions based. We want to help you now. Also, how do we do? There hasn't been a lot of that talk. So I
Hmm.
think that through our past client base, we're also going to see a big change in
Wow.
what more we can offer them. And the final step to that is technology. Um,
Mm.
and adding imaging components is something that we are investing in to help us grow this year. It's called Matterport. I don't know if you've heard about it,
Mm.
but it's a 3D
Mm-mm.
image of a space. Um, and therefore you can see all of your assets,
Oh, wow.
um, as opposed to a still picture. Where is it in the
Hmm.
store or where is it in this? And this is brand new to us as well. We're just working with a few clients to try to get it started. Because especially for somebody whose home office is in Arkansas, but they have convenience stores around the nation,
Uh-huh.
um, they might want to look up store 555. What kind of freezers are they using and where are they? What condition is it
Interesting.
in?
Yeah.
Yeah, so as opposed to just a picture, this imaging is allowing our client,
Mm.
again, providing more solutions to help with branding, help
Mm.
with merchandising, help
Mm.
with marketing, training. You can embed videos. I mean, it's just there's lots of opportunity there
Hmm.
because it is kind of an old school job we do. So
Yeah.
we're trying to bring it into
The new age.
a new age of everything is a video.
Yes. And if you don't, a lot of business,
Yeah,
I think, will get left behind.
right. Well, one of our biggest, like as a leadership owner team is, we had to deep dive into like, could technology, AI, any of it
Mm.
get rid of us? What
Mm.
do you need us for at the core? What's the human element that has
Hmm.
to happen? And
Right.
luckily there are some. Um,
Yeah.
And that's good, but we can enhance that significantly and also improve our process by being open to those opportunities.
Yeah. That's so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love the idea of bringing something that could be so rigorous is the only word that comes to mind with
Mhm.
and doing what you do to
Yeah.
creating it more efficient.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. It's and it's even possible that the videos could be taken and then the inventory could be done back here. I mean, I don't know. There's
Wow.
just like
Yeah.
we're opening ourselves up to some real opportunities to enhance what we already do and say,
Hmm.
if you need more, and then maybe this saves you money because the other aspects of your team can use this in their world
Yeah.
and thrive.
Yeah. Where do you see, well, not asset, what
Inventory
inventory
ID.
ID? It's not,
Same. Yeah.
yeah. What
Either
do you
or.
see? Where do you see it going long term in the next 5, 10 years, maybe?
Yes, what I see is a combination of things. One, kind of continuing that path, finding those partnerships and developing them well, but at least doubling or tripling our business
Hmm.
to make
Hmm.
it um, more nimble. Also, bringing in
Mm.
more experts that are of these different technologies. Still having that home base and that opportunity. If we're going to a school, we have our own employees who are background checked and who work for us. And,
Yeah.
you can feel safe with them there. To where maybe we have a team in Denver because we're doing a warehouse. And you know what I mean? Like
Hmm.
we're going to have to figure out a labor
Yeah.
world around to grow that big because it can't be with a 12-man team out of Kansas City.
Mm.
But throughout, so I see us opening up opportunities for the technology with bringing imaging in, increasing our footprint, especially in the US. We do go abroad, but especially in the US, um, with satellite labor that we
Mm.
can, if you need the labor part itself, otherwise we'll do it through our technology. So I think we'll
Yeah.
always have that component of us. Yes, we
Hmm.
can deploy a team to you, or
Yeah.
we can do a virtual opportunity of your inventory and you can take it from there.
That's so
So
cool.
that's kind of what I see.
Yeah. What about you and the family? Do you feel like it'll maintain a family business for the long term?
I hope at least the next 5 or 10 years,
Yeah.
that's hopefully my time in business left. Um, and yes, we were talking the other day. We're like, it's something that maybe our kids would be involved in too. Who
Mm.
knows? But we all one core value of all of the owners is the employees and how important that is to our team and how much we want that
Mm.
to be like you want to work here,
Yeah.
not have to go to work,
Yeah.
or not, oh, so and so offered me a job, but that this is because you're valued, because of who you are.
Hmm.
We want that team to be built where we create a culture of accountability, personal responsibility, and ownership amongst everybody. So
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of the direction we want to go.
I love that. Yeah. Well, before we get into some fun rapid fire questions, share with us about inventory ID, maybe the special day that you're having, something that we didn't cover that the audience should know.
Gosh. Something that we didn't cover about inventory ID. Um, well, oh, this is so interesting. Okay, just hit
Okay.
me. So as I told you, we acquired, right?
Uh-huh.
So our team that's in the field, this 10 guys and
Hmm.
girls, men and women, um, they travel all week, right? So that's hard. It's a very
Mm.
certain kind of person that can leave on Monday, come back on Friday,
Mm.
and wants to do that.
Yeah.
And literally, I think all but one right now of our employees in the field are skateboarders.
Oh, how fun.
So that was a recruiting pool for the company for a while because they want to go all over. And they can say they've been to this park or this whatever. And usually they're younger and
Yeah,
single.
yeah,
That doesn't hurt either because they enjoy that part of the job.
yeah.
But they
Hmm.
want to punch their card throughout the US. And so
Wow.
our data gentleman who cleans and normalizes our data, who's been with the company for 20 years, he
Wow.
was a professional skateboarder. Amazing. And so they all look up to him and are like, kind of started coming to work here. And we were like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
these are our people.
These are our people.
So
He's your
obviously
recruiter
we'll probably have
too.
to grow outside of that world, but that's something people don't always know. And so it is such an interesting group of
Yeah.
individuals and like a whole culture that I didn't know
Mm,
about of things. And these guys and women love to travel.
yeah. That's so fun.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
I love that. Thanks for sharing that. That is a fun fact.
it's a fun
And
fact.
maybe
Yes,
a
it is.
YouTube video about them too.
Yeah. Oh my, I'm sure they have many actually,
I
definitely.
love it. Well, I'm ready to get in some rapid fire questions and have
Okay.
some fun. You ready?
Okay. I'm ready.
All right. What would you say is the key to success for you?
The key to success for me is trust.
Mm, that's really good. Trust in your employees and giving trust.
Exactly. You can't do anything without it.
It's true.
Clients
Yeah.
also.
Oh, yeah. All
So
right. What would be your one piece of advice to other business owners?
my one piece of advice to other business owners, if I could give this to myself, I would take it. It's patience.
Mm,
Um, because as you mentioned, we did so much in a year. And so I
mm,
feel like I'm on a wheel, constantly. And
yeah.
sometimes it helps me to stop and say, okay, here's where
Mm,
we've come. This is awesome. Focus now
yeah.
on this. And so it's not biting off just constantly because you want the more, but more evolving than transformation immediate. Does that make
Yeah.
sense?
For sure. Yeah. I get that. We all need a little bit more patience, or maybe I'm just talking about myself too.
Yeah.
All right. Book or podcast. What are you reading or listening to right now?
Oh my gosh. I am, you're gonna think I'm a goofball, but of course I like the Kelsey Brothers podcast.
Right.
They're the
It's
football
very
players. I'm in
popular.
Kansas City. I mean, I
I
don't
mean, you
know.
can't help
So,
it.
so
Yeah.
I do love that. That's pretty funny. But work-wise, I am a huge proponent of the five dysfunctions of the team because that is the
Mm,
base of trust. And I learned so much from that book, and I always go back to it. I have like a workbook of it that I work with my people about that because this core level, and I had so much trust to build when I came here that I had to go back
mm,
and remember, how to be a real team starts with that trust and vulnerability in the leader,
yeah.
and I have to implement that. So that's kind
Yeah.
of my mantra.
I love that so much. And so smart that you went back knowing that you were coming into something very different,
Yes,
acquiring
yes.
a team. Yeah.
But we
Yeah.
do know that a team is a team
Right.
and they're all different components, but you have to have some things. And those five dysfunctions are so
Mm,
powerful. We're still on trust, but we'll get there.
yeah. We'll get there. You'll get there for sure. You've
Yes,
done a lot. You're going to get there too. All
yes,
right. This is a
absolutely.
fun one. If you had a
Okay.
little bit of magic dust and could sprinkle it anywhere, where would you sprinkle it?
If I had a little bit of magic dust and I could sprinkle it anywhere in the company or just in life?
I would say the company.
Oh gosh, I would sprinkle it over our technology, our
Mm,
app. We have this app
mm,
that
mhm.
transfers our data. And if I could sprinkle something on that and it worked perfectly and was brand new and did all the things we wanted without spending $100,000, that's where I would sprinkle it.
That would do it.
Yes.
I always
I
say
need an
technology is
app.
great until it's not.
Yes, exactly. It's hard for
It's
sure.
hard, yeah. Well, before we get to the last question of the day, share with our audience how they can find you, hire you, connect with you, all the things.
Okay, so Debby Allmon, you can always reach us through assetservices.com or our new inventory-id.com. It all goes to the same place. I'm Debbie at inventoryid.com. We're located in Kansas City. We have a wonderful website that explains more about what we do. It's a little under construction with the changes, but the
Mhm.
information's all still there. So
Awesome.
that's
I love
that's
that so much. I love also that we got to celebrate with you today. So
I know.
I
I was
have,
like, this is so perfect.
it's perfect. I wish
Yes.
it went out live today, but
Ah,
even though we get to celebrate and
you
people
still
that
get to
are
have my
hearing
excitement that
still get
was
to hear
not
it.
as strong yesterday with all the email problems. I was like, oh my gosh, did we do the right thing? And then today I'm like, yes, okay.
Well, I hope y'all are celebrating somehow.
We
So
are. We
yeah,
absolutely are. Yes.
good. Well, this might be an easy question considering what you're doing today, but what is most inspiring you today?
Well, it's always, to me, it's always people, like I said. But honestly,
Hmm.
I have to say my brother-in-law, Brian, is very inspiring to
Oh,
me because what he's been through
mm,
really shows people what mind and will can do
yeah.
more, even more than medicine, I think. So having him as a partner and on our team and what he's done and where he is today. And he's getting ready to do the Alcatraz Marathon as
Oh
their
my
key
goodness.
person. I know, it's just
Wow.
crazy. Like I can barely run to the front door.
I
Um,
know.
so he really is inspiring me. So
That's
that's what it
great.
is
I love
today.
that. I love that it's a family-owned business in a sense, and that's who inspires you. So
Yeah.
it's great. So thank you so much for being on the show today. This was a great conversation, and I just really feel I'm a part, and so is our audience of what's going on in inventory
Inventory.
ID today. And just congratulations again on all
Thank
your
you.
success this past year. And
Thank
I
you.
just want to encourage really everyone that's listening to just save this show because Debbie had some great words of wisdom on how to acquire, how to build teams. Just a great show. So, also, as always, don't forget to like and subscribe so that you don't miss a notification every time a new show drops, just like this one. Thanks to everyone for joining us today. But, Debbie, thank you so much for joining. It was such
Thank
a
you so much
pleasure.
for having me. I really enjoyed it.
I'm so glad. Well, until next time, bye bye.
Bye.